The storm hit the city like a living thing. Windows shook. Metal signs screamed. Inside the worn-out diner on 12th Street, Sarah wiped down the last table, counting the small pile of tips she would stretch across another week. Her hands stung. Tiny cracks along her knuckles burned from detergent and cold air. When an ambulance shot past the diner, its sirens slicing through the storm, her breath faltered. Not in curiosity, but in longing. That sound used to mean purpose. Now it only reminded her of everything she'd lost. Her phone buzzes. Landlord, if rent isn't paid tomorrow, the locks change. Sarah closed her eyes. 1 second. Just 1 second to steady herself. She pulled on her thin jacket and stepped outside. The cold slammed into her chest. Snow drifted sideways in sharp, icy sheets. She walked fast toward Mrs. Adler's apartment to pick up Leo, replaying the landlord's message in her mind like a threat carved into stone. When the door opened, Leo appeared, hair messy, half asleep, hugging his too small jacket. Long night? Mrs. Adler asked. Sarah managed a tired smile. Thank you. I'll pay you Friday. She didn't know if that was true. Leo slid his hand into hers as they stepped into the storm, his fingers cold but trusting. She squeezed back as they fought the wind toward home. The street ahead was swallowed by white. Sarah looked at Leo's reddening face and made a quick choice. Cut through the industrial alley. It was darker but shorter. The storm wouldn't forgive hesitation. A few blocks away, another storm was breaking. A human one. In the alley behind the old warehouse, Enzo Moretti lay on his side while Dante and 3 men circled him. Breath steamed in the frozen air. Blood darkened the snow beneath Enzo's cheek. Get up, Dante said, though he didn't actually want him to. Since you won't give the seed phrase, you can freeze with it. A fist crashed into Enzo's ribs. Another hit the back of his neck. They weren't trying to kill him. Not yet. A dead man couldn't unlock $200 million. When Enzo finally collapsed, Dante crouched beside him. You're the only one who knows the 24 words, he whispered. In the morning, either you talk or we come back to collect whatever's left. Boots crunched away. Silence returned, sharp, absolute. Snow began covering Enzo's body like a burial. Sarah and Leo turned into the alley. The wind howled through metal ducts overhead, carrying the storm's icy breath straight into their bones. Leo's steps slowed. He gripped Sarah's coat. Mom, what's that? A shape lay a few feet ahead, lumped and still. Leo moved before Sarah could stop him, stumbled, and his foot hit something solid. He fell forward with a choked gasp. Sarah rushed to him. Then she saw it. The beam from her phone shook over a man's face. Lips purple, eyelids fluttering, breath shallow and erratic. His skin was turning the color no living person should have. The snow around him was stained with blood, a pattern she knew too well. Blunt trauma, hypothermia, collapsing vitals, a countdown. Her heart jolted hard. The instinct to run, to protect Leo, fought the instinct burned into her from years as a paramedic. Leo's voice trembled. Mom, he's dying. Sarah's pulse roared in her ears. If she touched this man, her life could unravel. CPS, police questions, a ruined record resurfacing. But Leo was watching, learning who his mother chose to be. Sarah crouched low, meeting her son's frightened eyes. Hold my hand tight, she said softly. We're going to help him. Then we go home. Leo nodded, a single terrified motion. Sarah exhaled once and stepped into danger. She dragged the battered plastic tarp leaning against the dumpster and rolled the man onto it. His body was heavy, dead weight. Leo pressed his mittened hands to the tarp edge to help steady him. Stay behind me. Don't let go, she told Leo. The alley was a wind tunnel, freezing every breath as they pulled the man toward the street. The tarp slid easier on the icy ground, but her arms burned with every step. A groan escaped the man, raw, broken. Hang on, Sarah whispered. Don't leave yet. They pushed into the freight elevator of their building. The doors closed with a shudder, trapping the 3 of them in a dim metal box that smelled of rust and old cardboard. Snow melted off the man's hair and dripped onto the floor. Sarah looked at him, really looked, and something cold tightened in her stomach. This wasn't a random victim. This was a man someone wanted erased. She pressed the elevator button anyway. They were already in it. She would have to save him now. No turning back. In the howling heart of a Chicago blizzard, a single mother dragged a dying stranger from an alley, not because she had the strength, but because her son was watching. and she refused to teach him that survival means walking away from someone else's pain. Sarah didn't know Enzo was mafia, didn't know the storm of violence he carried. She only knew a life was slipping away in the snow, and her child needed to see what compassion looks like when no one else will step forward. Through blood, fever dreams, broken ribs taped with duct tape, and the terror of footsteps closing in, she held space for a man the world had already condemned, proving that the bravest thing we ever do isn't fighting with fists, but refusing to let another human being die alone in the dark. Real redemption isn't dramatic. It begins when someone chooses mercy over safety, when love becomes the quiet act of staying even when every instinct screams to run. Sometimes the most powerful healing isn't in gold-filled cracks. It's in the ordinary, trembling hands that refuse to let go. What small, terrifying moment in your life taught you that compassion can be stronger than fear? Share your story in the comments below. Your words might be the warmth someone needs on their coldest night. And if this tale moved you to tears or hope, please hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join our growing family of stories that remind us the light we carry can save lives we never expected to touch. Let's keep choosing kindness, even when the storm is loudest, together.